Most people think idolatry is about statues, golden calves, stone gods, pagan temples. But what if I told you that the most powerful idol in your life doesn't look like a god at all? It fits in your pocket, it lights up your face, and it quietly consumes your attention every single day. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one is saying. You don't worship what you believe in. You worship what you stare at the longest. And once you understand this, you will never look at your attention the same way again. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear explains why so many believers feel empty, distracted, and spiritually numb without knowing why. In the ancient world, worship always required one thing above all else: not money, not words, not even sacrifice. Attention. An altar only worked if people kept coming back to it, standing before it, focusing on it, giving it time. And here's the revelation. An altar doesn't need incense anymore. It needs your eyes. Because in both physics and scripture, one law is unbreakable. Energy flows where attention goes. Modern neuroscience confirms something ancient prophets already knew. Whatever you focus on repeatedly, your brain rewires itself around. This is called neuroplasticity. Your attention doesn't just observe reality, it trains your nervous system to become familiar with it. Fear, watched daily, becomes normal. Violence, watched repeatedly, becomes tolerable. Noise, watched constantly, becomes addictive. You don't become what you want. You become what you consume with attention. The Bible warned us about this long before screens existed. Psalm 115 says something chilling. Those who make idols become like them. Read that again. They don't just worship idols. They become like what they behold. Cold gods create cold hearts. Silent gods create silent consciences. Lifeless gods create numb souls. This isn't symbolism. This is spiritual physics. Here's why this matters right now. The enemy doesn't need you to bow anymore. He doesn't need rituals. He doesn't need temples. He just needs your sustained attention. Endless news cycles, constant outrage, sexualized content, algorithmic fear. Not because it informs you, but because it forms you. The goal isn't to make you rebel against God. The goal is simpler. Distract you long enough that your inner altar is no longer His. This is why Jesus said something radical in Hebrew's language. Fix your eyes. Not glance, not check occasionally. Fix. Because He knew the battlefield of the last days wouldn't be belief. It would be focus. You don't drift into holiness. You drift into distraction. And distraction slowly replaces devotion. This explains the epidemic. People pray but feel nothing. Read scripture but stay unchanged. Worship but feel distant. Not because God left, but because their attention altar was moved. You cannot stare at chaos all week and expect peace on Sunday. The altar always answers the one who feeds it. So how do you tear down a false altar? Not with guilt, not with fear, but with replacement. You don't fight distraction by trying harder. You fight it by choosing what deserves your gaze. Silence becomes resistance. Stillness becomes warfare. Attention becomes obedience. This is what Jesus meant by watch, not paranoia, presence. Ask yourself honestly, What do my eyes return to when I'm tired? What do I scroll when no one is watching? What receives my best attention? Because that is your altar, and whatever sits on it is shaping you. You were never meant to be owned by noise. Your attention is sacred. Your focus is powerful. And what you fix your eyes on, you slowly become. If this message exposed something in you, don't ignore it. Stay with this field. And remember, you don't worship what you say you believe. You worship what you give your attention to. Welcome back.